Hello, hello, beautiful souls. I am hoping that this video finds each and every one of you doing great today. And if you are a new member of my beautiful tribe here, Understanding Divine Messages, I just want to say hi and welcome. If this is the first video you are catching live, today I am having a special guest join us. There was a post a while back about a specific Bible verse, and there was a lot of questions around that, and it brought up a lot of interesting things, and I thought, let's bring on a specialist. We have Reverend Katy here. Let me just tap on my camera to bring her on. In biblical studies, and so I'm super excited. She's a friend of mine. Super excited to have her. Welcome, Katy. Yay.
Hey.
Hi. Just telling them that your PhD in biblical studies, you know the Bible just like the back of your hand, I bet.
Yeah, it's what I do all day, every day. So
Right? Oh my gosh. So there was that Ecclesiastes Bible verse that brought a lot of conversation in the group this week. And
there are like 200 comments. What an active group. It's so nice.
I know. I was like, whoa, let's dive into that a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's find out, like, what is your interpretation, or how should we be looking at that?
Yeah, and so I thought it was a really good verse someone brought up. So my understanding of what the concern was, the post was about, like, can loved ones visit us after they've departed the earth, right? And so someone's concern was, well, in Ecclesiastes it has this verse about the dead, so no, I don't think they can. So let's just break that down. So I'm going to read the verse, and I'm reading, just for those who are interested, I'm reading out of the New Revised Standard Version. Super. So it's chapter 9, verse 5, and the verse says, "The living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no more reward, and even the memory of them is lost." So I can totally see how that would cause someone concern, right? And
Absolutely.
To say, well, the dead don't remember anything, or their memory is gone. But the book of Ecclesiastes is actually about something else. So are we ready to dive into that?
Oh yeah, let's do.
Okay, so you all have to hang with me a little bit, because I'm going to give you a little bit of background. And one of the compliments that people give me is that I make this stuff not boring.
Oh, cool.
So we're gonna make it exciting. Okay. So the book of Ecclesiastes, we find that in the Old Testament, and it's a book about wisdom. So we have this collection of books of the Old Testament about wisdom, but Ecclesiastes says that the conventional wisdom that we find in other books in the Old Testament, like the book of Proverbs, is wrong. So Ecclesiastes is actually like a reform book. It's a reform book saying the conventional wisdom that says, if you're good, good things will happen to you, and if you're bad, bad things will happen to you. The book of Ecclesiastes says that's not right, because we see bad people that have good things happen to them all the time.
True. Okay.
It's right. So they're kind of like allude to the book of Job. They're like, look at Job. He was a great person. Bad things happened to him.
True.
Right?
Right.
And we all know people who we think are probably not ethical or moral, and good things seem to happen to them, right? So the book of Ecclesiastes at some level seems to say conventional wisdom is that's too easy.
Right.
There's deeper questions, deeper answers we need to ask. So let's start there. So that's kind of point one. Should I keep going, or do we need to clarify anything?
No, that makes sense. I mean, yeah,
okay.
All of us are like, wow, that person that's that thorn in our side and never done any good. We're always wondering, like, well, how did they get to win the lottery? You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Right. You know, and we live in a world that is at some level broken.
Right.
There's wars, there's violence, right? We're called to be light workers and to correct that. And the book of Ecclesiastes, though, the only thing that the author of Ecclesiastes could get to is like, yeah, this world is messed up. They never quite got to the other side of, and I'm going to fix it. They couldn't quite get it.
Okay. Yeah.
So my perspective of who wrote this is a person having an existential crisis.
Okay.
They're like, the wisdom that I was taught growing up no longer serves me. We need a new wisdom. And so, in part, this book is a large meditation on death.
Okay.
And so, the kind of common ground that this author says everyone will one day die. Rich, poor, king, peasant, good, bad. It's the one thing everyone has in common. So, you may disagree with him, I may disagree with him, but that's what he's talking about.
Right. Okay.
Right. And particular book.
So
when we get
like,
yeah,
he might have had something not so fun happen to him, and he's like,
yeah,
I'm in my
yeah. I think he's like 19. I think he might have had this crisis when he was 19, and it continued until he was 50, and he never resolved it. Right. So Stacie's in the business of resolving these kind of problems, which is amazing, right? Because like, I kind of feel for this author. Like he writes 12 chapters. It's a huge meditation on like somewhat depressing topics, and doesn't ever have a sort of solution that's, you know, life affirming. But he is where he is, and the perspective that we need, right? So this particular verse then, I think what's really important when we read the Bible is we have these verses that are meaningful or that speak to us. It's really important that we read before and after that particular verse.
I remember years of Bible study, and that was there. It's like, if you don't read the before and the after, you don't really know what they're pertaining to.
Exactly. And it's like when you have an argument with someone and they're like, well, you said, and they pull one thing out that you said with no context from before or after it.
Right. And go,
like, no,
I said that because I was upset with my teenager.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't about life in general.
Yeah, exactly. So what comes right before this is kind of a meditation on, I'll just read a little bit of it, not the whole thing. But this author is talking about fate. In verse 2, he says, the same fate comes to all, to the righteousness and to the wicked, to the good, to the evil, to the clean, to the unclean, to those who sacrifice, to those who don't sacrifice. And so he's outlining that everyone will die one day. And then when he gets to verse 5, the living know that they will die. We all know that, right? But the dead know nothing. They have no reward, and even the memory of them is lost. So it's really a statement about the living, not about the dead.
Okay.
This is really a statement about one day my memory will be lost, according to this author. I don't really believe that. But he says, one day my memory will be lost. And the whole crux of the book leads him to say, live the best life that you can, knowing all of this.
Okay.
Eat, Mary. That's where that phrase comes from. It comes from this book.
Mary.
And he advises to do that in moderation.
Right. So basically, rock and roll your way right out of this world and have a great life, be a good person. And
he says it a little more depressingly than that, but yeah.
And say love me.
Yeah. Another really important thing that people might be interested in is that the Hebrew people when this was written, their concept of the afterlife was that everyone went to the same place, and that place is called Sheol. Okay. And it's not hell, it's not heaven, it's the underworld. It's like the shadowy underworld for them.
Okay.
So when he says, even their memory will be lost, I think he really is talking about the people on earth who won't remember, people that lived 1,000 years ago and have died.
Right.
But their memory,
have Facebook.
Like what was that?
Because they didn't have Facebook.
Exactly. Yes, they didn't have Facebook.
Right? Unless you're in the scrolls, we will remember.
Right. Yeah. But overall, in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, is very seldom concerned with the afterlife. The Hebrew Bible is concerned with how we live now, the justice that we do, and the light that we are called to bring to the world. Okay. Right. And if anyone knew about hard times, it's the Jewish people.
Right.
Right. There's a lot of hard times, right? They knew what they were talking about, and they were able to keep that alive. And
that being said, all of that was written before Jesus was ever even in existence.
Hundreds of years. Right.
So they hadn't gotten to experience Jesus's death or resurrection or any of that. So they're just going
definitely
what they knew at that time.
Right. Yeah. And this is really, this is several hundred years, before Jesus walked the earth.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So this is embedded in a Hebrew culture that's just beginning to come into contact with the Greek culture and with other cultures as well. Wow. So, the fear that like our loved ones can't speak to us. I'm a Christian minister and a Bible scholar, and I believe I've had those experiences. So I don't think that the scripture limits us in that.
So you're saying that loved ones on the other side, you have connected with yourself personally.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, my family members have too. So I don't feel, for me, I don't feel like scripture limits that. I feel like it grounds us in a reality of, what am I doing here on the earth? Now, and this is one perspective, and the good news is for all of you who read the Bible, the good news is we have diversity in the Bible. There's not a biblical view, there's many biblical views.
Right.
So it's good news.
Beautiful. That is good news. That is good
Cool.
news. And I know you've got another call, and I
Yeah.
want to thank you for taking the time to visit my
you were very
group,
welcome.
my beautiful people.
Oh, it's so
I appreciate it. So
it's so
fun. Reverend Katy. Yay. She's my go-to every time I have a little something in the Bible that I'm like, oh, you know, I don't know. I'm not the specialist, but I'll give her a jingle and see what's up. So I thought,
yeah,
what a great way to bring you in
call
and share that
time.
information.
I'm so happy. It's so much. Yeah, well, so I think everyone's homework is to go listen to the Turn, Turn, Turn song that comes directly from
Turn,
Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season. Turn, yeah. So that'll be your earworm for the day.
Oh, yes, I'm going to look that up. Turn, turn, turn. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know we're having
Directly from chapter
internet.
3.
Okay. Thank you, Katy. Mwah. Blessings to you. And I'll do a closeout, but you need to go. Okay.
Yeah, I need to run, but we'll check in another time.
Okay. Bye, Katy. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Great to be here.
Awesome. So see you later. Oh, great to have you. Absolutely. I don't know if my internet's the one that's being wonky. We've got storms going on. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope that whether you caught this live, whether you're catching the replay, I hope that made a little bit of sense for those of you that were questioning that Bible verse and where that comes from, and really understand that when we're reading the Bible that we do need to make sure we're reading the verse before and after so we can understand what the context of that verse really is stating. And the fact that that verse in Ecclesiastes, I was trying to think, did I write that down? I don't have it written down, but it's in the post, was hundreds of years before Jesus was even born. And so really, honestly, like Reverend Katy said, that was their reality at the time. And all of our reality shifts all the time. So even though it's something that has been documented, things change all the time. And as I know, with my spiritual gifts and with my connection to God and with my connection to my spirit team, I have been told many, many times that even the kids that are being born nowadays, their DNA structure, thank you, 9.5. Thank you, Bernadette. Even their DNA structure is different than what it was when we were born. They're coming onto this earth being more awakened. So obviously, when we look back into Hebrew times, like we've changed so much. Like our realities really are not the same. And so a lot of times, you know, it's a great reference. It's great storyline, story background. I believe many of the stories are based in truth that are in that Bible, but we really got to pay attention to how does it resonate for us. And if it doesn't resonate for you, your truth may be different, and that's okay. And that is okay. So if you've missed the live, if you missed Reverend Katy being on and sharing, when I jump off here, go back and watch it. I think that you'll enjoy it, and I love that you're all here. Mwah! Angel kisses to you all. Have a blessed day.